truth, substantiality, and is thus full of the most dazzling splendor. Each of the limbs of the transcendental figure possesses in himself the full-fledged functions of all the organs, and eternally sees, maintains, and manifests the infinite universes, both spiritual and mundane world. Mundane. Okay. So please read, devotees. ఎవరైతే ఉన్నారో ప్లీజ్ అన్మ్యూట్ యువర్ సెల్ఫ్. ఒక్కొక్కరు ప్లీజ్ రీడ్ వన్ మీనింగ్ ఆఫ్ దిస్ పర్టికులర్ సాంగ్ రిటర్న్ బై శ్రీ నరోత్తమ్ దాస్ ఠాకూర్. శ్రీ నరోత్తమ్ దాస్ ఠాకూర్ ki jai. It's called Guru Vandana. We all know in all of our ISKCON temples we sing every morning to remember, importance of Guru, understanding spiritual knowledge through Guru Parampara. Okay.
Hare
Yeah.
Krishna Prabhuji, I'll read.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Yeah. Okay.
I'll read first two, Prabhuji.
Yes, go ahead.
The lotus feet of our spiritual master are the only way by which we can attain pure devotional service. I bow to his lotus feet with great awe and reverence. By his grace, one can cross the ocean of material suffering and obtain the mercy of Krishna. My only wish is to have my consciousness purified by the words emanating from his lotus mouth. Attachment to his lotus feet is the perfection that fulfills all desires.
Thank you, Mataji. Next two.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Yeah.
Shall I read, Prabhuji?
3, 4. Go ahead, bro.
Okay, Prabhuji. He opens my darkened eyes and fill my heart with the transcendental knowledge. He is my Lord, birth after birth. From him, excessive prem emanates. By him, ignorance is destroyed. The Vedic scriptures sing of his character. Fourth, our spiritual master is the ocean of mercy, the friend of the poor, and the Lord and master of the devotees. O Lokanath Goswami, O Master, be merciful unto me. Give me the shade of your lotus feet. Your fame is spread all over the three worlds. Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Jai. Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Srila Gurudev ki jai. This is the song written by Narottam Das Thakur. Book name Prema Bhakti Chandrika. Guru Vandana. Sri Guru Charana Padma Kevala Bhakati Sadma Bando Moe Savadana Mate Bando Moe Savadana Mate Jahara Vasade Bhai E Bhavatoriya Jai Krishna Prapti Hai Jai Hai Te Krishna Prapti Hai Jai Hai Te Guru Mukha Padma Vakya Chitte Te Koriya Aikya Arana Kori Ho Mane Asha Arana Kori Ho Mane Asha Sri Guru Charane Rati Eye Sevotama Gati Jai Prasade Pure Sarva Asha Jai Prasade Pure Sarva आशा चकुदान दिलो जय जन्मे जन्मे प्रभु से चकुदान दिलो जय जन्मे जन्मे प्रभु से दिव्य ज्ञान हृदय प्रकाशितो दिव्य ज्ञान हृदय प्रकाशितो प्रेम भक्ति जहाँ होते अविद्या विनाशा जाते प्रेम भक्ति जहाँ होते अविद्या विनाशा जाते वेद गाय जहाँ चरितो वेद गाय जहाँ चरितो श्री गुरु करुणा सिंधु अधम जनारा बंधु श्री गुरु करुणा सिंधु अधम जनारा बंधु लोकना लोकेरा जीवाना लोकना लोकेरा जीवाना आहा प्रभु कोरो दया देह मोरे पद जया 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 Ebejar Grushuk Tribhuvana, Ebejar Grushuk Tribhuvana, Srila Prabhupada Patita Pavana, Srila Gurudev Loyal Charana, Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada. Prabhupada, Srila Prabhupada, Jaya Gurudeva, Jaya Gurudeva, Gurudeva, Srila Gurudeva, Nittai Gaura Haribo, Haribo, Haribol, Nittai Gaura Haribo, Haribol, 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 Haribol. This is the mood. That's why Prabhupada has given instructions to all of his temples. This is a prayer when I used to chant before taking or discussing any scriptural topics. Right after this, Bhagavatam classes starts in our temples, right? So like that. So all the develop the gratitude by remembering this verse. What is saying? The lotus feet of attachment is lotus feet is a perfection that fulfills all desires. He opened my darkened eyes, Tadvidya Pranipatena Pariprasthana. Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita. So what is saying? Tadvidya Pranipatena Pariprashnena Sevaya Upadekshantite Jnana Jnanena Saptadarshana. Service. If you think about in our life, we are connected to, right, ISKCON, some connected to in some groups. That group reporting to one authority. Then one authority is directly reporting to Diksha Guru. Ultimately, Diksha Guru is always thinking about his spiritual master, Founder Acharya Srila Prabhupada. So I am grateful to all of the devotees here. Gachibowli Satsang ki jai. His Grace Lilananda Prabhu, our Grace Anuradha Premate. Thank you so much for inspiring all the time, motivating all the time, and pushing forward this movement far and wide in the Gachibowli, not only Gachibowli, IT area especially. All are very well situated, nicely educated, and all the preachers are nicely preaching in different communities. And very happy. Thank you so much. And I'm very happy to be part of this group. And in that attitude, in that mood, I'm serving Srimad Bhagavatam today. Okay. Thank you so much. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari, Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari, Gopijana Vallabha Girivaradhari, Gopijana Vallabha Girivaradhari, Yashodanandana Braja Jana Ranjana, Yashodanandana Braja Jana Ranjana, Yamuna Tira Vanachari, Yamuna Tira Vanachari, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Prabhupada, Srila Prabhupada, Jaya Gurudeva, Jaya Gurudeva, Gurudeva, Srila Gurudeva. Prabhupada, right after, Radha Madhava, he recites that Premadhvani prayers. Jaya Om Vishnupada Paramahamsa Parivrajacharya Ashtottara Shataya Abhaya Charanaravinda Bhakti Vedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Jaya Om Vishnupada Paramahamsa Parivrajacharya Ashtottara Shataya Sri Venkateshwara Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda ki jai. Nitai Gaur Hari Premanande Hari Hari Bol. Okay. Thank you very much, devotees. Welcome you all for the morning Srimad Bhagavatam time. Bhagavatam time, right? This is the Bhagavatam time. Morning hours. Morning hours are mode of goodness hours, right? Time also divided into three modes. Midnight 12 to until 8 o'clock. It's a mode of goodness hours. Mode of goodness. And after 8 to again till 4 o'clock, mode of passion. And 4 to night 12 is ignorance. So sleep is ignorance. That's why we sleep in the night, right? So it's a thing. So let us spend good time. Very wonderful chapter. Previous chapter, Srimad Bhagavatam, 7th canto, 8th chapter. Lord appeared Ugra Rupam, right? Ugra Viram. Ugram Veeram Mahavishnu Jalantam Sarvato Mukham Narasimham Bhishanam Bhadram Mrityur. What kind of ferocious form he has? Digantalu. Digantalu అంటే భూమి ఆకాశాలను టచ్ చేసేటువంటి దట్స్ ద ఫార్మ్ లార్డ్ నరసింహదేవ స్వామి is as soon as he appeared after killing very big ఆకాశాన్ని అంటే అంత ferocious form. all the higher planetary system inhabitants, charanas, yakshas, gandharvas, indralokas, we have seen different personalities. He is still not pacified to Narasimhadev. Too much because he has given too many atrocities to the pure devotee called Prahlad Maharaj. You don't want somebody's wonderful dog is barking. Whose dog? Let us be Krishna's dog. Hari bol. Okay. Hare Krishna. So that is the thing. So what is not pacified actually. All the higher planetary inhabitants, but still. So before that, what is the connection actually? What is the context? How this pastime started? Srimad Bhagavatam. These are the wonderful pastimes Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu every time, multiple times, many times, he is wanna hear these pastimes and develop his love for Supreme Lord Krishna. All the time he wanted to hear from the pastimes of Prahlad Narasimha. Okay, so let me share quickly here one thing. 7th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam. Seventh canto talks about signs of God. Prabhupada nicely put the titles of these chapters and cantos. The signs of God. Let me share my screen. Signs of God, signs, not signs of chemistry, science, scientific subjects. This is the ultimate understanding of who is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Very nicely explaining all these pastimes. If you see canto, previous canto, let me see where it started. That after the Pumsavana ritualistic ceremony done, from here it started. So the thing is in how these narrations are described in the Rajasva Yajna, these personalities are there. Who are the personalities? Narada Muni, Supreme Lord Krishna, Yudhishthira, and Shishupala, and all other various kingdoms. Right? So there, see, we know that story past time. Shishupala, Krishna is going to bear until 99 blaspheming words, whatever. 100th time, no, you don't want. He is a Sudarshan chakra coming from his right hand and slacking the head of Shishupala. So all these assembly and especially Yudhishthira Maharaj and Narada Muni, they have seen the personality it dissolved in the Krishna's body. Why? Yudhishthira Maharaj is asking why, how it's possible. He's a very not a devotee, he's a demon. He's always blaspheming Krishna. How it is possible? A person after killing also entering into the body of Krishna? So Yudhishthira Maharaj's question to Narada Muni. That's where he's explaining, these are all pastimes of Supreme Lord. These are the Leelas. And his previous life, actually they were all Vishnu Parshada. Vishnu, they're all, Jaya Vijaya, right? Pastime. They either favorable mood 7 lifetimes or not favorable or in angry mood or non-favorable mood 3 lifetimes. We all know the 3 lifetimes. Anybody likes to remember those? What are the 3 lifetimes in 3 yugas? We all know, right? Hey, చెప్పండి anybody? ఏంటిది జయ విజయాలు నెక్స్ట్ లైఫ్ టైమ్స్ లో డిఫరెంట్ యుగాస్ లో వాట్ ఆర్ ద పర్సనాలిటీస్? శిశుపాల ఎనీవే వి సీ in the proper yuga. Ravana Kumbhakarna in the time of Mataji Treta Yuga, correct? Okay. And yes, Hiranyaksha, Hiranyakashipu. Satya Yuga time frame. Okay. And in the Dwapara Yuga time frame,
Shishupala and
Dantavakra. Thank you, Padma Mataji. Thank you so much. Yes, correct. This is what it is. So they were devotees, but they offended to a pure devotees, Sanaka, Sanatana, Sanandana, Sanat Kumara, 4 Kumaras, because of the offense. See, Krishna doesn't like, right? When we offend a Vaishnava, he don't like it, arey. Again, that's where their lifetime, into in a non-favorable way. Non-favorable way, but they always think about Krishna. That is the thing. By killing, they going back to it. So here we see Hiranyakashipu's pastime is like that. He's a already devotee, but his leelas, Krishna's leelas, you can understand. So yesterday we have seen 7.8 chapter. Appeared in that chapter, Lord Nrsimhadev. His form is so ferocious. He is not pacified. Not pacified from anybody. Now this chapter 7.9 entitled as, let me share here. Before that, the 7th canto from chapter 1 to 2 onwards. From in chapter 1 also some of the verses in the last few verses. All these chapters describing about the pastimes of Prahlad, Narasimha, Hiranyakashipu, these pastimes. And how many chapters dedicated here? 10. First 1 to 10 chapters of 7th canto, Srimad Bhagavatam, 7th canto, 1 to 10 chapters. We see. Now this one is there. This is chapter 1. The Supreme Lord is equal to everyone. From there, some of the verses, it starts with the pastime of. So here we are here in text chapter 9. Chapter 9, Prahlada pacifies Lord Nrsimhadeva with prayers. That's what we are going to discuss. Yesterday we have done with this particular chapter. Lord Nrsimha slays the king of the demons. King of the demons means Hiranyakashipu. Right? Slayed. Mottam bloodshed. There is a word in English, right? Bloodshed. In ferocious. Nobody can tolerate actually. By killing, all other planetary system shaken up actually. What's going on? All the inhabitants of what's going on? That's why they come here to see. So here 9th chapter. Let me. This is very helpful for me whenever I take Bhagavatam class. I refer to sections so that we can correlate and discuss. Okay, so let me share here. Share. Come on. Okay. Prahlad Maharaj prayers here we see how he is going to pacify Supreme Lord. We see that. So this is 7.9. Prahlada pacifies Lord Nrsimhadeva with the prayers. Right? How can we pacify Supreme Lord? Even though if we are in distress, how can get rid of our distress? Right? We always have to develop. Always have to be in the prayerful mood, right? Otherwise, how can we? Why we go to temple? Why we pray? To pacify our to get rid of our distresses, mentally, physically, emotionally. Prayer means praying to Supreme Lord, glorifying Supreme Lord, so that because all the creation, everything comes from Krishna, so Krishna is going to take care of my problem. Krishna is going to give peace of mind, right? That's where prayer needed. So here Nrsimhadev pacified by the prayers of Prahlad Maharaj. So these are the sections we see. 55 verses entire this chapter. 1 to 7. Today's 1 to 16 verses I have to cover. The demigods request Prahlada to appease the angry Lord. And 8 to 50 prayers of Prahlada Maharaja. Summary chart inside it is there. So this is the beginning. Now Bhagavatam is a loops of conversation, right? Bhagavatam is all about discussion, question and answer, and discussions between different personalities. Right? How Bhagavatam started off, we all know. Bhagavatam started off with that not directly from Parikshit Maharaj, Sukadeva Goswami. No. Before that, who were there? Personalities? Anybody? Quickly tell that.
Vyasdev
No.
and Vyasdev and
Prabhu.
Narada Muni Prabhuji.
Kaad Prabhu. No. No.
Sota Goswami and sages in Naimisharanya.
Thank you, Prabhu. Yes, correct. Swara Prabhu Vijaya. That's the first conversation started actually. Then later, second loop of conversation, Sukadeva Goswami and Parikshit Maharaj. And here, seventh canto. Let me share, so that we can understand. Vyasadeva Narada Muni is there, Prabhu. That is the disciplic succession, and they were always there. Vyasadeva only after he got the instruction from Narada Muni, he has written the Bhagavatam. That is the point. But I'm telling about the conversation, layers of conversation, or loops of conversation, we call it. Okay. So if we see 7.1 to 15, Yudhishthira Maharaj and Narada Muni. In the assembly of where? I said, which assembly? Which assembly? Haribol.
Yajna.
Yajasuya Yajna assembly. Please kindly attentive devotees. Whatever time you are giving, at least be attentive. Rajasuya Yajna time. Yeah, so 7.1 chapter to 15 chapter, they were discussing about these pastimes only. So we see Narsingadev and Prahlad pastime discussions between Narada Muni, Yudhishthira Maharaj in the Rajasuya Yajna. How many? Fourth layer of conversation. 1, 2, 3, fourth one. There's a connection, like that. So these are the sections we see. The demigods request Prahlada to appease the angry lord. First verse we will continue quickly. From prayers we'll have some focus. I will recite the mantras, the prayers, develop our mood also. These are Prahlada teachings are perfect teachings. He's a 5-year-old boy only, but he's all the time he never ever misses the remembrance of Supreme Lord. Satatam kirtayanto mam yatantascha drudavrata namasyantasya mam bhakti nityayukta upasate. Right? Prahlad Maharaj's lifetime, if we see different atrocities, different distressful conditions, his own father, how he remembers Supreme Lord. It's all instructive lesson. Smartavyam satatam Krishnam, yasmartavyam na jatuchit. Always remember Krishna and never forget. So how can we develop that mood? By always reciting, always remembering these pastimes, especially Prahlad Maharaj. Yeah. Before that, let me recite some Bhagavatam prayers, and we'll start with first verse. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskrityam Naram Chaivam Narottam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudire Nashtaprayeshu Abhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavate Uttama Sloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtiki Krishnaya Vasudevaya Devaki Nandanaya Cha Nanda Gopakumaraya Govindaya Namo Namaha Namah Pankajanabhaya Namah Pankajamarine Namah Pankajanestaraya Namaste Pankajangrahe. So I am opening of Veda base. First verse. Prabhupada writes so nice purports. Quickly, Manam, we will continue, okay? But before that, there is a description is there. But let me recite one verse and we will go with that description also. I'm sharing here. First verse. The great sage Narada Muni continued. That is where this chapter, this conversation going back. Same, right? Narada Muni is describing about Hiranyakashipu and Prahlad Maharaj, those pastimes to Yudhishthira. In the back and forth, Parikshit Maharaj and Sukadeva Goswami. And in their and the back layer of that conversation is Sukadeva Goswami, Naimisharanya 60,000 sages headed by Shaunakarush. 7.9.1 Sri Narada Uvacha Evam Suradaya Sarve Brahma Rudra Purasara Nopaitum Asakanmanyu Samrambham Sudurasadam. Sri Narada Uvacha, the great saintly sage Narada Muni said, Evam, the Sura Adaya, the group of demigods, Sarve all, Brahma Rudra Parasara, represented by Lord Brahma and Lord Shiva, not upaitum, to go before the Lord, asakan, able, manyu sambramam, in a completely angry mood. Sudha Sudura Sadam, very difficult to approach Lord Narasimha Deva. So that is there. Translation purport by Abhaya Charanaravinda Bhakti Vedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Okay. The great saint Narad Muni continued. The demigods headed by Lord Brahma, Lord Shiva, and other great demigods dared not to come forward before the Lord, who at the time was extremely angry. Ugram Viram. Ugra Kopam. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. Srila Narottam Das Thakur has sung in his Prema Bhakti Chandrika, Krodha Bhakta Dveshi Jane. Anger should be used to punish a demon who is envious of devotees. Kama, Krodha, Lobha, Moha, Madam, Ascharya. Lust, anger, greed, illusion, pride, and envy all have their proper use for the Supreme Personality of God and his devotee. A devotee of the Lord cannot tolerate blasphemy of the Lord or his other devotees, and the Lord also cannot tolerate blasphemy of a devotee. Thus, Lord Narasimhadev was so very angry that the great demigods like Lord Brahma and Lord Shiva, and even the goddess of fortune, who is the Lord's constant companion, could not pacify him even after offering prayers of glorification and praise. No one was able to pacify the Lord in his anger. But because the Lord was willing to exhibit his affection for Prahlad Maharaja, all the demigods and the other present before the Lord pushed Prahlad Maharaja forward to pacify him. So that is the scenario. In the previous chapter, we see, right, all the different planetary systems came to pacify, but not again. Here, credit has to give to Prahlad Maharaj. We discuss. So let us take blessings from Guru Parambara. There is a culture before start discussion of the any topics. We have to remember that one, right? Yeah. Om Ajnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Chakshurumilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Namo Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Srimati Bhaktivedanta Swamini Namine. Namaste Saraswatdeve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyamadi Paschatya Deshatarine. Vanchakalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhuvevacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaur Bhaktavranda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Mukam karoti vachalam, pangam langayate girim. Yatkrupatamaham vande, Shri Gurum Dinatarinam, Paramananda Madhavam, Sri Chaitanya Mishram. Om Pavitra Pavitro, Sarvavasangato Viva, Yasmaret Pundarikaksham, Sabahya Suchi, Sri Vishnu, Sri Vishnu, Sri Vishnu. Om Tad Vishnu Paramambadam, Sada Pashyanti Surayo, Diviva Chakshiradatam, Sadviprasa Vipanyevo, Jagruham Samindate Vishnum Yat Paramampadam. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Okay. So this is what it is. So now we see Narada Muni is describing to Yudhishthira Maharaj. Lord Shiva is there, Lord Brahma is there, all the demigods there. But because the Lord willing to exhibit, one point is mentioned, Prabhupada purport. Because the Lord was willing to, are you able to see my screen now?
Yes,
Yes,
Prabhuji.
Prabhuji.
Okay. Because the Lord was willing to exhibit his affection for Prahlad Maharaja, all the demigods and other present before the Lord pushed Prahlad Maharaja forward to pacify him. Because for Prahlad Maharaj only he came, right? Right, to show his, I mean, Prahlad Maharaj said, in Hiranyakashipu asked, hey, is Vishnu in this pillar? Then, yes, ఇందుగలడు అందుగల సందేహము వలదు ఇందుగలడు అందులేడని సందేహము వలదు ఇందుగలడు అందులేదని సందేహము వలదు in Telugu పోతన భాగవతము. Krishna is everywhere, right? Every atom, chara achara, he is there. So he wanted to show now he appeared in the pillar, all the conditions fulfilled, because Brahma has given benedictions to Hiranyakashipu. You don't want to die in water, you don't want to die in sky, you don't want to killed by any human being, you don't want to kill by all these conditions fulfilled. Okay. And away from those conditions, beyond those conditions, he appeared. Not in the night you don't want to die, not in the day you don't want to die, but in the dusk time. Prahlad Maharaj didn't remember those technicalities. Almost he got the amaratvam. His mindset is until that point only. But Krishna knows how to trick his demon as well as all these non-devotees. So of course Lord fulfilled Lord Brahma's benedictions, but still he appeared in different ways. In the dusk. That's where in the Narsinga Chaturdasi time we fast until dusk. It's not in the night, it's not in the day, in the middle of the night. Just అప్పుడే పొద్దు ఊడుస్తుంది అప్పుడు టైం కదా. So that's where right. So we'll continue from next verse. Quickly let us see. Okay. Until 8, when Prahlada starts reciting, let us quickly go through it. Okay. We'll directly read translations as well as purports quickly. Okay. I'll read translation and you all read purports. Yeah. The goddess of fortune, Lakshmi ji, was requested to go before the Lord by all the demigods present, who because of fear could not do so. But even she had never seen such a wonderful and extraordinary form of the Lord, and thus she could not approach him. This is the first time also for Lakshmi Devi also. Because first time stuck in wonder. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. Anybody likes to read?
Yeah, Prabhuji, I'll read.
Yeah, go ahead, Mataji.
Translation and purport by Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Purport: The Lord has unlimited forms and bodily features. Advaitam, Achyutam, Anadim, Ananta Rupam. These are all situated in Vaikuntha. Yet Lakshmi Devi, the goddess of fortune, being inspired by Leela Shakti, could not appreciate his unprecedented form of the Lord. In this regard, Srila Madhvacharya recites the following verse from Brahmanda Purana. Adrishta Prastuta Purvavad Anyai Sadharanyaiर्जनैः नृसिंहं संकीर्तेवस्त्रीर्लोकमोहायना ययौ.
Yeah, 3 verses there, Mataji. You can recite.
प्रह्लादे चैव वात्सल्या दर्शनान्या हरिरपि ज्ञात्वा मानस तथा ब्रह्मा प्रह्लादं प्रेष्यात् तदा एकत्रैक्ष्या वात्सल्यं विशेषाद् दर्शयेद् उद्धरहि avarshyapi mohaya क्रमेणैवापि vatsalah. In other words, for the common men, the form of the Lord as Nrsimhadeva is certainly unseen and wonderful, but for the devotee, like Prahlad Maharaj, such a fearsome form of the Lord is not at all extraordinary. By the grace of the Lord, a devotee can very easily understand how the Lord can appear in any form he likes. Therefore, the devotee is never afraid of such a form. Because of the special favor bestowed upon Prahlad Maharaj, he remained silent and unafraid, even though all the demigods, including even Lakshmi Devi, were afraid of Lord Narsimhadeva. Narayana Paraha Sarvena Kutaschana Bhipyati. Bhagavatam 6.17.28. Not only is a pure devotee of Narayana, like Prahlad Maharaj, unafraid of any dangerous condition of material life, but also if the Lord appears in order to mitigate the fear of a devotee, the devotee maintains his status of fearlessness in all circumstances.
Haribo. Our Abhayacharana, thank you, Mataji. Our Abhayacharana, Bhaktivedanta Swami's father, Mohan Day, given in the beginning, Prabhupada's name was Abhayacharan. Abhayacharan. He wanted his son to be, become pure devotee. Abhayacharan. I take it the lotus feet of Supreme Lord. Abhayacharan. So fearlessness comes when devotee surrenders at the lotus feet of Supreme Lord. Here Prahlad Maharaj is a pure devotee. So why these verses quoted from Prabhupada in the purport? Madhvacharya recites in this regard. What is this? What is that regard? The goddess of fortune, being inspired by Leela Shakti, could not appreciate this unprecedented form of the Lord. In this regard, Madhvacharya pointed out from verses from Brahmanda Purana. What is the meaning of that? In other words, for the common men, The form of the Lord as Narasimhadev is certainly unseen and wonderful. They won't see actually. Common men, the form of the Lord as Narasimhadev is certainly unseen and wonderful. ఎప్పుడు చూడలేదు, but it's struck code అంటారు, stuck in code. But for a devotee like Prahlad Maharaj, such a fearsome form of the Lord is not at all extraordinary. He is happy, he is peaceful. By the grace of the Lord, again, very important, by the grace of the Lord, a devotee can very easily understand how the Lord can appear in any form he likes. Right? Krishna can appear in any form. Therefore, the devotee is never afraid of such form. Because of such a favor bestowed upon Prahlad Maharaj, he remained silent and unafraid. Everybody trembled, including Lord Brahma, Lord Shiva, all other demigods. Even though all the demigods, including even Lakshmi Devi, were afraid of Lord Narasimhadeva. Every time, all the time, serving at the lotus feet of Supreme Lord, but still, she is also got the fear by ferocious form of the Ugra Narasimha. Narayana Parasar, very important verse, Prabhupada. This is the beauty of Prabhupada in a connection. Narayana Parasarve Nakutaschana Bibhyati. 6:17:28. What is the meaning of? Not only is pure devotee of Narayana like Prahlad Maharaj, unafraid of any dangerous condition of material life. Very important verse, devotee is this one. Let me quickly see for you, for all of. Devotees solely engaged in the devotional service of the Supreme Lord, Narayana, never fear any conditions of life. For them, there is no difference between heavenly planet, liberation, hellish planet, are all the same. First, devotees are interested only in the service of the Lord. Sikshastakam prayer we'll see, right? Situated me any condition of life, I wanted to serve you. Our mood got it from here in this verse. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu Sikshastakam, this is the Bhagavatam verse. See? Next verse.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dandat Pranam Prabhuji.
Mataji, Saraswati Mataji, go ahead. Translations are there. Next few verses, translations there. Until purport comes, you recite, Mataji.
Okay, Prabhuji. Translation by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Thereafter, Lord Brahma requested Prahlad Maharaj, who was standing very near him, "My dear son, Lord Narasimhadeva is extremely angry at your demoniac father. Please go forward and appease the Lord."
And Lord Brahma requested Prahlad Maharaj. Now he is starting, pushing forward. Everybody afraid, and you are become very peaceful, very good. Still same, constant, same samastiti. You got it. Now Brahma is, requesting Prahlad Maharaj, you go. Ever వినేటట్టు లేడు. Only when you go in front of him. 794. Next, read Mataji.
Narada Muni continued, "O king, although the exalted devotee Prahlad Maharaj was only a little boy, he accepted Lord Brahma's words. He gradually proceeded towards Lord Narasimhadeva and fell down to offer his respectful obeisances with folded hands."
Again, the conversation between Yudhishthira Maharaj, Narada Muni. Narada Muni, what is saying? Very important thing. There is one word.
That okay, Prabhuji.
One thing, Mother, I will let you know. Harbhaga, see? Harbhaga. Harbhaga and a small boy. A 5-year-old boy, right? 5-year-old boy. What is saying here? Narada Muni, O king, although the exalted devotee. Because who is the exalted devotee? Because he performed unalloyed devotional service. Unalloyed. Prabhupada writes this word. We see from Prabhupada's purports and in his translations, we see in small books every time. What is the devotional service one has to perform? Unalloyed devotional service. Savai pumsam parodharma yato bhakshir, unmotivated, uninterrupted. See, example of Prahlad Maharaj lifetime. Did he have any motivation? Only motivation to serve Supreme Lord. Uninterrupted, even in different conditions, even in different difficult conditions. All these various problems we see. That is what pure devotee consciousness. Exemplary devotee of Prahlad Maharaj. Exemplary devotee of Prahlad Maharaj. Working all the exalted devotee. Prabhupada writes exalted devotee or exemplary devotee. Prahlad Maharaj was only a little boy, Arbhaga. He accepted Lord Brahma's words. He gradually proceeded toward the Lord Narasimhadev and fell down to offer obeisances in the lotus feet of Ugra Narasimha. to offer his respectful obeisances with folded hands. From here onwards, story continues. Okay. This one purport is there, Mataji. You conclude with purport also. Read, Mataji, Saraswati Mataji.
Prabhuji. Translation. When Lord Narasimhadeva saw the small boy Prahlad Maharaj prostrated at the sole of his lotus feet, he became most ecstatic in affection toward his devotee. Raising Prahlada, the Lord placed his lotus hand upon the boy's head because his hand is always ready to create fearlessness in all of his devotees.
Purport also read, Mataji.
Purport. The necessities of the material world are four: Ahara, Nidra, Bhaya, and Maituna, eating, sleeping, defending, and mating. In this material world, everyone is in fearful consciousness. Sada Samudvigna Diyam. And the only means to make everyone fearless in Krishna consciousness. When Lord Narasimhadeva appeared, all the devotees become fearless. The devotee's hope of becoming fearless is to chant the holy name of the Lord Narasimhadeva. Yato yato yami tato Narasimha. Wherever we go, we must always think of Lord Narasimha. Thus, there will be no fear for the devotee of the Lord. Thank you.
1 minute, think, Saraswati Mataji, where this will come. Think where it will come. Narasimha prayer, yes.
Oh,
Yeto,
Yato.
yeto, yami tato. Thank you, Mataji. Haribol. So this is the thing. Now what is saying? When Lord Narasimha saw the small boy, Arbaka, Prahlada Maharaj, prostrated at the Lord, soles of his lotus feet, he became అంత పెద్ద ఆకాశానికి అంటే అంతటువంటి ఉగ్ర రూపాన్ని చూసి ఎంత 5 సంవత్సరాల అబ్బాయి see, think about that past time, see, all the planetary systems trembled and are shaken. That means how much big he appeared. There was descriptions actually. His head touching the sky. అంత పెద్ద ఫెరోషియస్ ఫామ్ ఇంత 5 సంవత్సరాల 5-year-old బాయ్. సో నౌ ఈజ్ prostrated obeisances, humble obeisances, dandavat pranam, he paid obeisances to Supreme Lord Narasimhadev. He became most ecstatic in affection toward his devotee. Who? Narasimhadev. Ferocious form for other devotees, other are shaken. But now when he sees, Narasimhadev sees through Prahlad Maharaj, very affectionate. He became most ecstatic in affection toward his devotee. Raising Prahlada, the Lord placed his lotus hand upon the boy's head because his hand is always ready to create fearlessness in all of his devotees. Manjiga talamena mantla bhagavantuni, sparsha. Right? Prabhupada writes it. The necessity of why he pointed out this one. The necessity of material world are 4. Ahara, Nidra, Bhaya, Maidunam cha. Our SSR, we recite this. One of the topics recite, right? Human life is not meant for these 4 things. Human life is meant for self-realization. That's where our SSR course is all about. In this material world, everyone is in fearful condition, fearful consciousness. Sada samudvigadhiyam. And the only means to make everyone fearless is Krishna consciousness. So, in this material world, everyone is in fearful consciousness. Why Prabhupada maintains, one has to work very hard, right, to maintain this? Eating, sleeping, mating, defending. One has to work, unless how can they fulfill? Sada samudvigadhiyam. And the only means to make everyone fearless is Krishna consciousness. Chala meaning in the devotees in this purport lines law. There is so much meaning, Is Krishna consciousness, and the only means to make everyone fearlessness. Right? మనకు తిండి దొరుకుతుందో మనకు అన్ని ఉంటాయా లేదా అనేది ఒక ఉంటుంది కదా. ఆల్వేస్ ఇన్ స్ట్రెస్ఫుల్, ఆల్వేస్ ఇన్ యాంగ్జైటీ, రైట్? But the only means to make everyone fearless is Krishna consciousness. When the Lord Narasimhadev appeared, all the devotees became fearless. We have all the fears, right? Fear of losing job, uncertainty, insecurity. Material world is designed like that, right? The devotee's hope of becoming fearless is to chant the holy name of the Narasimhadev. Yeto yeto yami tato Narasimha. Wherever we go, we must always think of Narasimhadev. Yeto yeto yami tato Narasimha. Right? When we start to go one place, right after sitting in the car, this is a culture we developed. What we developed? Narasimha prayer we sing. Yeto yeto yami. Not only the time, in our Mangalarati included. All the time when we have some fearlessness, recite Narasimha prayers. Thus, there will be no fear for the devotee of the Lord. Just like Prahlad Maharaj is just like, fearless condition. So now here, 6th verse, Prabhuji. Anybody?
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Shall I read, Prabhuji?
Yeah, please. Please go ahead.
Yeah, one minute, Prabhuji. The
I'm not
translation.
reciting. I want to recite Prahlad Maharaj prayers. Very nice. We'll do that. Go ahead, Prabhu.
Translation. By the touch of Lord Narsimha Deva's hand on Prahlad Maharaj's head, Prahlada was completely freed of all material contamination and desires, as if he had been thoroughly cleansed. Therefore, he at once became transcendently situated, and all the symptoms of ecstasy became manifest in his body. His heart filled with love and his eyes with tears, and thus he was able to completely capture the lotus feet of the Lord within the core of his heart.
Yeah. Yes, Prabhu. Read purport also.
Yeah, but as stated in Bhagavad Gita 14.26, Mam cha avyabhicharena bhakti yogena sevate sagunan samtitayan brahma boya kalpate. One who engages in full devotional service, who does not fall down in any circumstances at once, transcends the modes of material nature and thus comes to the level of Brahman. Elsewhere in Bhagavad Gita 9.32, the Lord says, Mami partha vyapsaryatya ye api suya pap yonyah स्त्रियो वैश्या तथा शूद्रास्ते अपि यान्ति param gatim. O son of Partha, those who take shelter in me, though they be of lower worth, women, Vaishya, merchants, as well as Sudra, workers, can approach the supreme destination. On the strength of these verses from Bhagavad Gita, it is evident that although Prahlada Maharaj was born in a demonic family, and although virtually demonic blood flowed within his body, he was cleansed of all material bodily contamination because of his exalted position as a devotee. In other words, such impediments on the spiritual path could not stop him from progressing, for he was directly in touch with the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Those who are physically and mentally contaminated by atheism cannot be situated on the transcendental platform. But as soon as one is freed from material contamination, he is immediately fit to be situated in devotional service. Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Thank you so much. Very important. Prabhupada mentioned here, but touch, this particular verse talks about the touch of the Supreme Lord, Narasimhadev. By touch, now is physical touch. Because he touched the head of the Prahlad Maharaj, all of whatever, any other material contaminations, all are freed. He once it became transcendentally situated. All the symptoms of ecstasy became manifest in his body. Whose body? Tell me, devotees. In his body means whose body?
Prahlad Maharaj.
Prahlad Maharaj.
Prahlad Maharaj body. Prahlad Maharaj body is symptoms. Ecstatic symptoms we see from, what is that? From Sikshastakam prayers.
Nainam
Ext-
Dashudharaya.
Haribol, thank you. His heart filled with love. That's a prema ashrudharalu, okay? Telugu word is there, right? Prema ashrudharalu. బాధతో వచ్చే అశ్రుధారలు వేరుంటాయి. Those are hot. And prema ashrudharalu, lovingly crying by touch of the Supreme Lord. And thus he was able to completely capture the lotus feet of the Supreme Lord within the core of his heart. Bhagavad Gita, Prabhupada writes, Mam Chove Bicharena Bhakti, because he practiced Bhakti. Prahlad Maharaj practiced Bhakti Yoga all the time. Sagunan Samadhi, because he is situated in mode of pure goodness. Brahma Bhuyaya Kalpate. Engages in full devotion service, does not fall on any circumstance, transcends the modes of middle nature, comes to the level of Brahman. And one more verse, anybody can practice. Prabhupada is giving, connecting different verses. Anybody can practice. Right immediately, right after immediately he pointed out this verse. He's talking about Bhakti Yoga. Prahlad Maharaj is performing. And next verse, Anybody can practice. Mam he patha vepasritya episyo papayonayo striyo vaishyata dasudra tepyanti paramgatim. Anybody can go parangatim aram paramam padam. Anybody. There is no caste, creed, gender, any other differentiation. Just only have to remember Krishna, serving Krishna, and go back home back to your. This particular paragraph is very important, devotees. On the strength of these verses from Bhagavad Gita. Prabhupada only on the strength of these verses, how can we get strength? Spiritual knowledge, right? We can get the strength from spiritual knowledge. Our mind, ఇప్పుడు మన మనసుకు ఏదైనా distressful condition, because in the material world is always like that, na. So we have to take the help from scripture. ఏదో మనసు ఏదో ఒక భగవద్గీత ఓపెన్ చేసి ఏదో ర్యాండమ్గా ఓపెన్ చేయండి యూ గెట్ నైస్ రియలైజేషన్స్ డివోటీస్. I have seen my personal experience when I have some distressful condition or something undisturbed some condition. I refer some any Bhagavad Gita page, and it will give the positiveness and it pacifying me, from the condition of what I'm experiencing, stressful or whatever. On the strength of these verses, Prabhupada write this particular word, strength of these verses from Bhagavad Gita, it is evident that although Prahlada Maharaj was born in a demoniac family, although virtually demoniac blood flowed within his body, virtually he was cleansed of all material bodily contamination. Virtually demoniac blood means he born in the family of asuras, right? In his body made up of from asura mentality, physical body, that also gone away when he touched the Supreme Lord. That is what it is we have to understand. Material bodily contamination because of the exalted position of devotee. In other words, such impediments on the spiritual world could not stop him from progress. For he was directly in touch with the Supreme Personality of Godhead all the time. Those who are physically, mentally contaminated, Prabhupada pointed out, materialistic people, they never be able to situate in the transcendental platform. As soon as one is freed of atheism, when he is freed of this atheism, both physically, mentally, then what happens? He is immediately fit to be situated in devotional service, right? We have to, atheism. Atheism means a non-believer of Supreme Lord. So it's next verse. Next verse onwards, 8th onwards, 8th or 9th onwards, let me say. Very important. Prahlada Maharaja, Sri Prahlada Uvacha. That is where, very interesting. I want to recite with sloka also. So this one verse, one more verse. Translation purport. Anybody please engage yourself in the
Hare
reading.
Krishna, Guruji. Hare Krishna, Dandavat Pranam.
Thank you, Mate. Nirvama Mate. Okay, continue.
Translation. Prahlad Maharaj fixed his mind and sight upon Lord Narsimhadev with full attention in complete trance. With a fixed mind, he began to offer prayers in love with a faltering voice. Purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. The word Susamahitaha means very attentive or fully fixed. The ability to fix the mind in this way is a result of Yoga Siddhi, mystic perfection. As it is stated in Srimad Bhagavatam 12.13.1, Dhyanavasthita tadgatena manasa pashyanti yam yoginaha. One attains yogic perfection when he is freed from all material diversions and his mind is fixed upon the lotus feet of the Lord. This is called samadhi or trance. Prahlad Maharaja attained that stage beyond the senses. Because he was engaged in service, he felt transcendently situated, and naturally his mind and attention became saturated in transcendence. In that condition, he began to offer his prayers as follows. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, man. Yes, thank you, Mataji. So this is a condition of Prahlad Maharaj. Of the touch of Narsingadev, all the material contaminations, whatever, is gone away. Now here, what kind of status he is? Very nice. Prabhupada, this is the beauty of Prabhupada. Let me see that verse also. Let me read one more time. Fixed his mind, who? Prahlad Maharaj. And sight upon Lord Narsingadev with full attention in complete trance. ఈయనతోనే సాధ్యమవుతుంది టు pacify Lord Narsingadev. Everybody not possible. ఎవరితోనే సాధ్యం కాలేదు. In the previous chapter we see different planetary systems, charanas, gandharvas, yakshas, different personalities, Kim Purushas, Lord Brahma, Lord Shiva. Everybody there. Now this is the thing. He is fixed his mind, sight upon Lord Narasimhadev, even though in that ferocious form, but he is very peaceful. No fearlessness, no fear by looking at the ferocious form. Full attention in complete trance. Happiness, he got it by touch of the Supreme Lord. What is the happiness? That Nayanam is very happy now. In this mood, with a fixed mind, he began to offer praise in love with a faltering voice. Right? Gadgada Swaram antam kada Telugulo. Faltering voice. Adi only a devotee can experience Prabhuji's and Mataji's faltering voice. And a happiness, love, filled in the voice of a devotee. If we see in this example, Prahlad Maharaj, faltering voice. Prabhupada writes nice connection from Bhagavatam. The word Susamahita, this is the beauty of Srila Prabhupada. Remember, devotees, whenever we see words, we remember the connected words. See here, we see in the purport Prabhupada in connection with, in this context, like this. Prabhupada writes, Susa Mahita means very attentive or fully fixed. The ability to fix the mind in this way is a result of Yoga Siddhi. So, what is this verse? Dhyana Vastita Manaso Yam Brahma Varuna Rudra Maruta Stunvanti Divyastha Vedai Sangha, all there. Pada Krama Panoshadair Gayanti Yam Samaga Dhyanavastita Tadganena Manasa Pashyanti Yam Yogino Yasyantam Navidu Surasura Gana Devaya Tasmai Nama. Very big purport, big translation. What is saying? Sutta Goswami, unto the personality whom Brahma, Varuna, Indra, Rudra, Maruta praise, chanting transcendental hymns and reciting the Vedas with all their corollaries, Padakramas, Upanishad, to whom the chanters of the Sama Veda, glorifying Supreme Lord only, this one, whom the perfected yogis see within their minds after fixing themselves in trance and observing themselves within him. This is where Prabhupada remembering. No? Samahata, fixed and attentiveness. As soon as you remember that word, is connected this verse from Bhagavatam, and whose limit can never be found by any demigod or demon. Unto the Supreme Personality of Godhead, I offer my humble obeisances. That is the connection, the light. This is called Samadhi or in trance. Prahlad Maharaja attained that stage beyond the senses, on the soul platform. Because he was engaged in service, he felt transcendently situated, and naturally his mind and attention became saturated in trance. In that condition, he began to offer his prayers as follows. Be ready with Brahma Samhita tunes. These are the prayers. Before connecting class, we had nice discussion, myself and Lavanya, on this topic. We shared some of the points, thank you, Lavanya, for adding here some, this tune I don't know. Thank you. You recited and then let me know. That's a good thing, no? Thank you for that. And some of the points you shared with me. Hari Bol. From here onwards, 8th until 16, right? So let us have nice meditation on these devotees. Sunday morning, Bhagavatam time, very good time. This time is eternal bank balance adder. Eternally bank balance deposits. Right? Physically, we see bank balance deposits. Money we deposit. Transfer from one account to another account. This is, of course, this dhanam always feels no lost. There is no lost in the material bank balance. Is going to be lost eventually. After death of a body, what's the point of that bank balance, everything? No, right? This is the eternal bank balance, prema dhana, or shashvata dhana. So we are reciting now. That means we are filling our bank balance. So please have attention and focus. Sri Prahlad Vacha. Brahmadaya suragana munayota siddha satvai katanagatayo vachasam pravahai naradhitum purugunair adunapi pipru kimto shutam arhati sameharigrajate. Anybody likes to read translation as well as purport also? Please help here. Yes,
Hare Krishna, I will read.
Chandramaul Prabhu. Go ahead.
Translation, purport by Srila Prabhupada. Prahlad Maharaja prayed, how is it possible for me who have who have been born in a family of asuras to offer suitable prayers to satisfy the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Even until now, all the demigods headed by Lord Brahma and all the saintly persons could not satisfy the Lord by streams of excellent words, although such persons are very qualified, being in the mode of goodness. Then what is to be said of me? I am not at all qualified.
So this is a humility of Prahlada Maharaj. We'll talk about. Continue, bro.
Yeah, perfect. A Vaishnava who is fully qualified to serve the Lord still thinks himself extremely low while offering praise to the Lord. For example, Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami, the author of Chaitanya Charitamrita, says, Jagai Madai Haite
Chaita CC tune.
yeah.
Jagai Madai
Jagai
Haite.
Madai Haite Muni Se Papista Puri Se Ragita Haite Muni Se Lagista. Thus, he considers himself unqualified, lower than the worms of stool, and more sinful than Jagai and Madai. A pure Vaishnava actually thinks of himself in this way. Similarly, although Prahlad Maharaja was a pure, exalted Vaishnava, he thought himself most unqualified to offer praise to the Supreme Lord. Mahajano yena gata sa pantaha. Every pure Vaishnava should think like this. One should not be falsely proud of his Vaishnava qualifications. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has therefore instructed as Trinadapi Sunichena Tarorapi Sahishnuna Amanina Manadena Ketayanta Sada Hari. One should chant
Kirtaniya.
Ketanaya Sada Hari. One should chant the holy name of the Lord in a humble state of mind, thinking oneself lower than the straw in the street. One should be more tolerant than a tree, devoid of all sense of false prestige, and should be ready to offer all respect to others. In such a state of mind, one can chant the holy name of the Lord constantly. Unless one is meek and humble, to make progress in spiritual life is very difficult.
Haribol. Thank you, bro.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. How is it possible for me, who have been born in a family of asuras, to offer suitable prayers to satisfy the Supreme Lord? How is it possible? All the great personalities from different planetary systems, Lord Brahma is there, Lord Shiva is there, the controller of mode of passion and as mode of ignorance. So he's thinking, even until now, all the demigods headed by Lord Brahma, all the saintly persons could not satisfy the Lord by streams of excellent words. They were glorifying you so nicely. All the such persons are very qualified. They situate in higher planetary systems means they perform nice thing, right? That's why they situate in the higher planetary systems. Being in the mode of goodness, they are in the mode of goodness because all the higher planetary systems means at least they are in the mode of goodness only, devotees, right? Then what is to be said of me? I am not at all qualified. I am born in Asura's family. I am contaminated. I don't have any, anything. And compared to, if you see all these planetary systems, all the different planetary beings, is putting himself in a humble position. Prabhupada mentioned 2 verses. Jagai Madai Haite Muni Se Papista, Puri Shera Kita Haita Muni Se Lagista. A pure devotee, pure Vaishnava actually thinks himself in this way. What is that way? In this way means what is that way? Lower than the worms in the stool. ఎంత నీచ పొజిషన్లో థింక్ చేసి చూడండి. అనదర్ వర్స్ ప్రభుపాద మెన్షన్ తృణాదపి సునీచేన పరరపి సహిష్ణ అమానిన మానదిన కీర్తనీయ సదాహరి. So this is a lifetime of workings, a lifetime of effort one has to put, a lifetime of effort one has to put to develop this mood. One should be tolerant, should be more tolerant than it, more humble state of mind, lower than the straw in the street. Examples giving divide of all sense of false prestige. మనం కొంత సాధిస్తేనే నేను ప్రైడ్ వచ్చేసి నేనే చేసిన కంట్రోలింగ్ పవర్, ఎంజాయ్మెంట్ పవర్, ప్రొపరేటర్షిప్ పవర్, మాస్టర్షిప్. So this is the thing. Prabhupada last conclude, unless Prabhupada instruction, unless one is meek and humble, to make progress in spiritual life is very difficult. ఎంత ఎదిగినా ఒదిగి ఉండాలి. So that's where in Telugu, right, we see, ఎంత ఎదిగినా ఒదిగి ఉండాలనేది ఒకటి మనం అంటాం కదా. జాతి ఏమంటారో తెలియదు. యా, ఎంత ఎదిగినా ఒదిగి ఉండాలి. ఐ డోంట్ నో మచ్. ఐఎమ్ స్టిల్ లర్నింగ్. ఐఎమ్ స్టిల్ very low. They keep themselves, their thought process is like that. Here Prahlad Maharaj is an exemplary devotee. All this very well situated, highly or high personalities, you are not satisfied. And I am nowhere when in front of them. Manye dhanabhijana rupa tapasruta jas teja prabhava bala paurusha buddhi yoga नाराधनय हि भवन्ति परस्य पुंसो भक्त्या तुतोस भगवान् गजयूतपाय. చేయండి ట్రాన్స్లేషన్. సేమ్ ఎంతూసియాజం తో చేయండి ట్రాన్స్లేషన్. హరి బోల్.
Can I do Hare Krishna?
Hare Krishna. Continue.
Translation and purport by A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Translation. Prahlad Maharaja continued, one may possess wealth, an aristocratic family, beauty, austerity, education, sensory expertise, luster, influence, physical strength, diligence, intelligence, and mystic yogic power. But I think that even by all these qualifications, one cannot satisfy the Supreme Personality of Godhead. However, one can satisfy the Lord simply by devotional service. Gajendra did this, and thus the Lord was satisfied with him. Hare Krishna.
Purport also, no?
Purport. No kind of material qualification is the means for satisfying the Supreme Personality of Godhead. As stated in Bhagavad Gita, only by devotional service can the Lord be known. Bhaktyamam abhijanati. Unless the Lord is pleased by the service of the devotee, the Lord does not reveal himself. Naham prakasha sarvasya yogamaya samamrita. This is the verdict of all the Shastras. Neither by speculation nor by material qualification can one understand or approach the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Hare Krishna.
Hari bol. Thank you very much. So, see, this is the thing. In the previous verse, what is he situated himself as in a humble, and he is glorifying all the higher planetary system, higher planetary personalities. Why? Because Lord Brahma himself told him, right? అరే మాతో అయితలేదు, మన దొడ్డు భాషలో మాట్లాడుకోవాలంటే ఈ మాతో కాదు, మన లాంగ్వేజ్ మన తెలంగాణ మాట్లాడాలంటే అరే బాబు మన ప్రహ్లాద్ బాబు, అరే బాబు, లవింగ్లీ, అరే బాబు మాతో అయితలేదు రే పైగా. ఆయన అస్సలు ఇంకా అట్లనే ఉన్న అగ్రూపం చూస్తే ఇంకా ట్రెంబుల్ అవుతుంది, నాకు భయం వేస్తుంది. ఇంకా నిన్ను చూస్తేనే నువ్వు అసలు ఏం భయపడట్లేదు, వెరీ నైస్, నువ్వే రైట్ క్యాండిడేట్వి, ఇక నువ్వు అని బ్రహ్మ అనే పుష్ చేసిండు కదా. ఇన్ వర్స్ ఉంది, రైట్? But he is remembering all the personalities, and again he keeping himself as a humble state. Now next what he is saying, he is saying that this one Prahlad Maharaj is saying all the material things won't help us in Krishna consciousness. Possessive, okay, too much money, no problem, okay, aristocrat family, wonderful family, no need to worry about eating, sleeping, no need to put hard work, beauty, austerity, education, sensory expertise, Kunti Maharani prayer also there, right? Janmay Shvairya Srutakri, that verse also there from Bhagavatam. Kunti Maharani prayers. Luster, influence, physical strength, diligence, intelligence, and mystic yoga for Anni. But I think that even by all these qualifications, one cannot satisfy the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Why? However, one can satisfy the Lord simply by devotional service, because all this gives material pride. When somebody having that one of the quality enemy, pride, right? One of the enemies pride, na madam. వీనికి బాగా మదం ఉంది, అన్ని డబ్బు ఉందన్న మదం, మంచి ఫ్యామిలీలో పుట్టిన అన్న మదం, మంచి చదువు ఉందన్న మదం, ప్రైడ్. దట్ వోంట్ ప్లీజ్ కృష్ణ. However, one can satisfy the Lord simply by devotional service. However, ఏం లేకున్నా కూడా, we know the cobbler and that story. How cobbler is a good consciousness, even though చెప్పులు కుట్టేవాడు. బట్ వాట్ అబౌట్ బ్రహ్మ, మన బ్రాహ్మణుడు అంత చదువున్నా కూడా అర్థం చేసుకోలేకపోయిండు కృష్ణుని. నారదముని వెళ్ళి నువ్వు నిజంగానే చూసినావా నిజంగానే అని అంటే ఏమంటాడు? చూసినా ఇది చేస్తుండు, ఏం చేస్తుండు? ఇది చెప్పు అంటాడంట నారాయణ, మన సుప్రీం లార్డ్ చెప్తాడంట నారాయణ, ఈయనకి చెప్పు చూద్దాం. దే ఆర్ టెస్టింగ్ థింగ్స్ యాక్చువల్లీ. ఇఫ్ యు సీ how Krishna is going to test a devotees, how Krishna is going to test devotees, a cobbler as well as Brahmana. Narada Muni story we all know, right? సో నారద ముని ఏం చెప్తాడు, ఇది చెప్పు నారాయణ చెప్తాడు అనమాట. ఇది చెప్పురా పోయి చెప్తే చూద్దాం. బోత్ ఆఫ్ దేర్ ఫేత్. వాట్ ఈస్ దట్? నీడిల్ రంధ్రం నుంచి ఏనుగు పోతున్నట్టు, నేను ఏనుగును తీస్తున్నా నీడిల్ నుంచి అని చెప్పు అని చెప్పి నారాయణుడు మన నారద మునికి చెప్తున్నాడు. పోయి చెప్పి చూద్దాం, టెస్ట్ చేద్దాం వీళ్ళ ఫెయిత్ ఏందనేది. కృష్ణ ఇంటెన్షన్, కృష్ణ knows everything, right? How can he know everything? Is a Paramatma situated in everyone? He is situated in cobbler's heart. He is situated in that Brahmana's heart. Testing of this faith. Example. అడుగుతే ఏమంటాడు బ్రాహ్మణుడు, అట్లా పాసిబుల్ అవుతుంది, కాదు, అన్ని ఆపోజిట్. బట్ మన కాబ్లర్ ఏం చేస్తాడు? పాసిబుల్, ఎస్, హౌ కెన్ ఇట్స్ పాసిబుల్? ఊహించుకుంటాడు. ఒక మెటీరియల్ ఎగ్జాంపుల్, బనియన్ ట్రీ, చిన్న సీడ్ నుంచి బనియన్ ట్రీ ఎట్లా వచ్చిందో, ఈజ్ అ కంట్రోలర్ ఆఫ్ ఎవ్రీథింగ్, హీ కెన్ డూ ఎనీథింగ్. కంట్రోలర్ ఆఫ్ ఎవ్రీథింగ్, ఈజ్ అ కంట్రోలర్ ఆఫ్ ఎవ్రీథింగ్ అన్నప్పుడు ఏంది, ఇంకెంత పెద్ద జంతువు అయినా కూడా he can do it very effortlessly, he can do, because he's the controller and as well as he's the controller, as well as he can do everything, can do, because he's the controller, master of everything. అది. సో అక్కడ ఫేత్ టెస్టర్ ఎవరు పాస్ అయినారు? కాబ్లర్ పాస్ అయినారు. సో however one can certify simply a devotional service. పత్రం పుష్పం ఫలం తోయం यो मे भक्त प्रयासति तदहं भक्ति उपाहृतम अस्नामि प्रयतात्मना. Patram pushpam phalam toyam yo me bhaktya prayasati. Love and devotion, he will please anything and everything if we have that one. Gajendra did this, and thus the Lord satisfied with him. Prabhupada mentioned, Bhaktya mam abhijanati yavan yashasmi tattvatam tato mam tattva yatma vishate tadanantaram. What is that? Bhaktya mam abhijanati. How can we know Krishna? Through only bhakti yoga process. We cannot know through the speculative method. We cannot know through the karma kanda yogis, akarma yoga or jnana yoga. Everything is somehow there is a falter in that process. Falter in process. There is a fault in the process. Halfway, not full way. Bhakti yoga is a full way process. Nam prakasha sarvasya yoga maya samavrita. Why he pointed out this one again, Prabhupada? Lord does not reveal himself. He does not. Even a cheap ankurra. Bhagavantude devotees, we have to work hard to. What is work hard? Develop humility. Develop, nice Krishna consciousness. Prabhupada writes many times, what is the Krishna consciousness? Always think about Krishna. I am eternal servant of Krishna. My goal is to please Supreme Lord in different services which connects to him. Naham saras prakasha sarvasya yogamaya samavrita. This is the verdict of all shastras. Speculation, material qualification, can one understand and approach the Supreme Personality of Godhead? Unless, before that, what he's saying? Unless the Lord is pleased by the service of a devotee, he won't reveal us. Because Yogamaya is a too much covering. But a devotee performs sincere devotional service, seriousness in the process, developing humility, all the good qualities. By practicing simple to chant Hare Krishna mantra with full focus and attention, we develop all the wonderful qualities. Just to give our mind, our attention, focus to Krishna. Sooner than later, Krishna reveals us. And we will be in the Yogamaya all the time. Text 10. Vipra disadguna yutad aravinda nabha pada ravinda vimukad swapacham varshitam manye tadarpita mano vachane hirtartha pranam punati sakulam natu bhurimana. Read, anybody? Translation.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Prabhu.
Padma Mataji, senior Varishta Vaishnavi. Let him go. Let Mataji go.
Okay.
Thank you, Mataji.
Okay,
You're
thank
always you're always inspiring for our family, Mataji. You're situated in advanced age. Thank you so much for all the calls you are joining. Please.
Thank you. If a Brahmana has all 12 of the Brahmanical qualifications, as they are stated in the book called Sanat Sujata, but is not a devotee and is averse to the lotus feet of the Lord, he is certainly lower than a devotee who is a dog eater, but who has dedicated everything, mind, words, activities, wealth, and life to the Supreme Lord. Such a devotee is better than such a Brahmana because the devotee can purify his whole family, whereas the so-called Brahmana in a position of false prestige cannot purify even himself. Purport by Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Here is a statement by Prahlad Maharaj, one of the 12 authorities, regarding the distinction between a devotee and a Brahmana expert in Karma Kanda or Vedic ritualistic ceremonies. There are 4 Varanas and 4 Ashramas which divide human society, but the central principle is to become a first-class pure devotee. It is set in the Hari
Mother, your voice, I don't know. Is for me or everybody?
It's not clear. Not clear.
Shastapah apranashya. This one audible? Hello,
Mataji.
is it not audible?
Now
it's
it's
fine, Mataji.
okay, 2 seconds network was people. You continue, Mataji. Now we are okay.
Okay. Bhagavad Bhakti Nasya Jatihi Shastram Japastapah Apranashya Dehasya Mandanam Loka Ranjanam. If one is born in a high family like that of a Brahmana, Kshatriya, or Vaishya, but is not a devotee of the Lord, all his good qualifications as a Brahmana, Kshatriya, or Vaishya are null and void. Indeed, they are considered decorations of a dead body. In this verse, Prahlad Maharaja speaks of the Vipras, the learned Brahmanas. The learned Brahmana is considered best among the divisions of Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, and Shudra. But a devotee born, not to speak of the Kshatriyas, why he is better than anyone, for he is in the transcendental position on the Brahman platform. Mamchayo vyabhicharena bhakti yogena sevate sagunan samatityaitan brahma bhuyaya kalpate. One who engages in full devotional service, who does not fall down in any circumstance, at once transcends the modes of material nature and thus comes to the level of Brahman. Bhagavad Gita 14.26. The 12 qualities of a first-class Brahmana, as stated in the book called Sanat Sujata, are as follows. Gnanam cha satyam cha damashrutam cha hi amatsaryam hrish titikshana suya yagnascha danam cha dhriti samascha Mahavrata Dwadasha Brahmanasya. The European and American devotees in the Krishna consciousness movement are sometimes accepted as Brahmanas, but the so-called caste Brahmanas are very much envious of them. In answer to such envy, Prahlad Maharaja says that one who has been born in a Brahmana family but is falsely proud of his prestigious position cannot even purify himself, not to speak of his family. Whereas if a Chandala, a low-born person, is a devotee and has fully surrendered unto the lotus feet of the Lord, he can purify his entire family. We have had actual experience of how Americans and Europeans, because of their full Krishna consciousness, have purified their whole families, so much so that a mother of a devotee at the time of her death inquired about Krishna with her last breath. Therefore, it is theoretically true and has been practically proven that a devotee can give the best to his family, his community, his society, and his nation. The foolish accuse a devotee of following the principles of escapism, but actually the fact is that a devotee is the right person to elevate his family. A devotee engages everything in the service of the Lord, and therefore he is always exalted. Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Hari Bol. Thank you so much for enthusiastically read, Mataji. Dandavad Pranam. Hari Bol. So, our one more Varishta Vaishnav, Muralidhar Prabhu, ఏం పెట్టాడు బాగుందని పెట్టాడు కదా ఒక చేతు 2 చప్పట్లు ఒక దండం నైస్ ఈయన కూడా వరిష్ట వైష్ణవ్ ఈజ్ జాయినింగ్ అవర్ రెగ్యులర్ కాల్స్ మురళీధర్ ప్రభు ఇన్ అవర్ మార్నింగ్ వెదర్ రీడింగ్ క్లబ్ కాల్స్ సో హీ లైక్స్ దిస్ పర్పుట్ వెరీ గుడ్ సో దిస్ ఇస్ ద థింగ్ డివోటీస్ ఇంత పర్పోట్లో ఒకటే పాయింట్ అర్థం చేసుకునేది ఏంటంటే ఇప్పుడు ఏ పర్సన్ born in Brahmana's family but he doesn't have a devotional qualities, no use. But a person born in Chandala family but he has a divine qualities, is good. That's what the whole theme of this particular purport, right? What is saying? Prabhupada, Sanat Sujata, one particular verse, book called Sanat Sujata. Sanat Sujata described about the qualities, first class Brahmana qualities, the 12 qualities of a first class Brahmana. We can refer later. The time constraint, I'm moving forward, okay? Right. So this is simple to understand, If a person in born in a Brahmana, because of the pride, oh, I am situated in a Brahmanical family. Yes, I am by birth, I born in Brahmana family by birth. But by birth, in Brahmana family, if you don't develop devotional qualities, or you are not humble enough to understand the scripture, or you feel yourself pride and all this, then what is the point? But Chandala having a nice consciousness, humble, meek, he is love for Krishna, then he is better than that by birth born in Brahmana's family. Okay, next verse, text 11. Okay. नैवात्मना प्रभुरयं निजलाभपूर्णो मानं जनाद् अविदुषा करुणो वृणीते यद् यद्यज्जनो भगवते विदभीतमानं तच्चात्मने प्रतिमुखस्य यथा मुखाश्री. Anybody?
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Yeah, go ahead, Mataji.
Translation. The Supreme Lord, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, is always fully satisfied in himself. Therefore, when something is offered to him, the offering, by the Lord's mercy, is for the benefit of the devotee, for the Lord does not need service from anyone. To give an example, if one's face is decorated, the reflection of one's face in a mirror is also seen to be decorated. Purport. In Bhakti Yoga, it is recommended that a devotee follow 9 principles. Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu Smaranam, Padasevanam, Archanam, Vandanam, Dasyam, Sakhyam, Atmanivedanam. This service of glorifying the Lord by hearing, chanting, and so on is not, of course, meant for the benefit of the Lord. This devotional service is recommended for the benefit of the devotee. The Lord is always glorious, whether the devotee glorifies him or not. But if the devotee engages in glorifying the Lord, the devotee himself automatically becomes glorious. Cheto darpanam arjanam bhavamahadavagni nirvapanam. By glorifying the Lord constantly, the living entity becomes purified in the core of his heart, and thus he can understand that he does not belong to the material world, but is a spirit soul whose actual activity is to advance in Krishna consciousness so that he may become free from the material clutches. Thus, the blazing fire of material existence is immediately extinguished. Bhava Mahadavagni Nirvapanam. A foolish person is amazed that Krishna orders Sarvadharman Parityajya Mamekam Sharanam Vraja. Abandon all varieties of religious activities and just surrender unto me. Some foolish scholars even say that this is too much to demand, but this demand is not for the benefit of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, rather, it is for the benefit of human society. If human beings individually and collectively surrender everything to the Supreme Personality of Godhead in full Krishna consciousness, all of the human society will benefit. One who does not dedicate everything to the Supreme Lord is described in this verse as Avidusha, a rascal. In Bhagavad Gita 7.15, the Lord himself speaks in the same way. Namam dushkritno mudha prapadyante naradhama maya paharta jnana ashuram bhavamashrita. Those miscreants who are grossly foolish, lowest among mankind, whose knowledge is stolen by illusion, and who partake of the atheistic nature of demons, do not surrender unto me. Because of ignorance and misfortune, the atheists and the Naradhamas, the lowest of men, do not surrender unto the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Therefore, although the Supreme Lord Krishna is full in himself, he appears in different yugas to demand the surrender of the conditioned soul so that they will benefit by becoming free. Prabhuji, can you scroll a bit? By becoming free from the material clutches. In conclusion, the more we engage in Krishna consciousness and render service unto the Lord, the more we benefit. Krishna does not need service from any of us. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Mataji. Prabhupada so nicely explained about all these processes for us. Krishna anyway already glory. He is a creator. already glorified. He's a glorious person only. Whether somebody is glorifying him or not, his position never changes. But in order to become, when this is a good point, huh? I like this point. Where is that? He becomes glorious, huh? Becomes glorious. Who becomes glorious? Anyway, the Lord is always glorious, whether the devotee glorifies him or not. But if the devotee engages in glorifying the Lord in this process, 9 principles: Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu Smaranam, Pada Sevanam, Achanam, Vandanam, Dasyam, Sakyam, Atma Nivedanam, those 9 processes glorifying him. Who will be glorious? Ultimately, devotee become glorious. The devotee himself automatically becomes glorious. He becomes pure devotees. Cheto Darpana Majanam, Prabhupada mentioned this particular verse from Sikshastakam, Bhava Maha Davagni Nirvapanam. Davagni means our conditioned material life, millions of lifetimes. We never know how many births we took. It's called Bhava Maha Davagni. Davagni means forest fire. అది ఎట్లా పుడుతుంది అనేది we never know. But only through the mercy of Krishna in the form of rain, it will subdued the firing, the forest fire, like that. This Mahadavagni of this material life, how can we get rid of? We need the mercy of Supreme Lord. How can we get that mercy of Supreme Lord? We need to follow the 9 principles of Bhakti Yoga. When we follow, what happens? The Mahadavagni will get. It starts with the Shravanam Kirtanam. First, number 1. Number 2, Shravanam and Kirtanam. Chanting and hearing. Hearing and chanting. So here, the Supreme Lord is glorifying. With all the prayers from Prahlad Maharaj only. Supreme Lord is always fully satisfied himself. He is fully Atma. What is that? There's a particular Sanskrit word. Atmaram.
Atmaram.
He's Atma Rama. Self-satisfied.
Yeah.
Therefore, when something is offered to him, the offering by the Lord's mercy is for the benefit of a devotee. Devotees, why we have to acknowledge in front of Krishna and take? Because it's for our benefit. If you are not acknowledging, Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita, they eat only sin. That is instruction. They eat only sin. That's why we have to acknowledge. Actually, all the resources given by Krishna only, right? Whatever the foodstuffs originally come from this material nature, right? So we have to address, we have to acknowledge Krishna. Yes, please accept this with loving and devotion. There is no karma. That's why it's akarma activity. We frequently see example of akarma activity. All the resources of the food grains, everything, all the foodstuffs offered to Krishna, then it becomes non-karmic activity, non-karma, akarma. For the Lord does not need service from anyone. To give an example, if one's face is decorated, the reflection of one's face is a mirror, is also seen to be decorated. What is the meaning? So in the previous verse, we see proper decorations of the body. All the bad qualities of a decorations of a non-devotee. Decorations of a devotee, like qualities: humble, meek, sincerity, seriousness, surrender. So what is this meaning? Anybody tell? To give an example, if one's face is decorated, decorate చేస్తే మనం మంచిగా కనబడతాం లేదా? Right? అద్దంలో చూసుకుంటే the reflection of one's face is a mirror is also seen to be decorated. What does it mean? చాలా మీనింగ్ ఉంది devotees. Prahlad Maharaj from you ముఖస్తుతి వస్తుంది ఎగ్జాంపుల్ చెప్పండి. What is the meaning?
Actually, Lord Krishna is Uttama Shloka, Varnita, right? Actually, there are a lot of sages and saints. Already they are praying with Uttama Shloka. They are praying Lord glories with the selected verses. But here, Prahlad Maharaj, he also want to pray because it's for his purification. Okay, so whenever like we pray for the Lord, it's not for his satisfaction. Actually, he is glorified, right? Already in the scripture, lot of people glorified Lord Krishna by Uttama Shloka. Selected verses. Now here, if we are glorifying Lord, it is for our purification. It's for our satisfaction.
Correct.
It seems like Krishna's satisfaction, but it is ultimately for our satisfaction because Krishna doesn't need any prayers. Actually, he is Atma Rama, right? Ananda Rama. Yeah, that's what.
Hari bol,
Yeah.
Mataji, Hari bol.
Atma Ramasya Murayo, Gandha, that is verse is there. So, so this is another thing. Why Prabhupada mentioned here rascals? One who does not dedicate everything to Supreme Lord is a rascal. మంచి వర్డ్ యూజ్ చేసిన కదా, అవిదూష. సంస్కృత వర్డ్ ఏమో మంచి పాస్ట్గా తిట్టడము, అవిదూష. బట్ ఆయన మెటీరియల్ ఇన్ ఇంగ్లీష్ లాంగ్వేజ్లో రాస్కెల్, ఫూల్స్ అండ్ రాస్కెల్స్. ఈ సే దట్ ఫూల్స్ అండ్ రాస్కెల్స్. కిక్ విత్ మై బూట్, మై బూట్ అట్లా కూడా అంటాడు. 7.15 కృష్ణుడు యాక్చువల్లీ దిస్ ఇస్ కృష్ణ కికింగ్ ఇన్ ద బూట్. యాక్చువల్లీ కృష్ణుడు కృష్ణాస్ బూట్ తో తన్నే పరిస్థితి. నమాం దుష్కృతినో మూఢ ప్రపద్యంతే నరాధమ, నరాధమ లోయెస్ట్ ఆఫ్ మ్యాన్ కన్ మాయాపహృత జ్ఞాన ఇస్ కవర్డ్ విత్ మాయా, మహామాయ. ఆసురీం భావం ఆశ్రిత, ఆసురీం భావ, ఆసురీ మీన్స్ demoniac qualities. They won't approach me. Miscreants, those miscreants who are grossly foolish, lowest among them, they won't come to me. Because of ignorance and misfortune, the atheist is Naradamas, the lowest of man, do not surrender to Supreme Lord. Therefore, although Supreme Lord, in concluding, Prabhupada, therefore, although the Supreme Lord Krishna is full in himself, he appears in different yugas, demand, remember this, Prabhupada word, demand the surrender of conditioned souls so that they will benefit by becoming free from material clutches. చూడండి, Krishna is demanding sarva dharman parityajya mamika, demanding for our benefit only, devotees, demanding for not demand I don't want to do, అంటే you are the loser. Demand గా చెప్తున్నాడు వాడు, నేను చేయను ఆ పని అంటే కృష్ణ డిమాండ్లీ, దట్ డిమాండ్ ఈజ్ నీడెడ్ టు రెక్టిఫై అవర్ సెల్స్ the conditions also, so that they benefit by becoming free from material clutches. Prabhupada only writes this, from the material clutches. What is the free from material clutches? చెప్పండి, what is the material clutches? క్లచెస్ అంటే కార్ క్లచ్ లేకపోతే ఇంకా వేరే బస్సు క్లచ్ కాదు, మెటీరియల్ క్లచెస్. వాట్ ఆర్ ద మెటీరియల్ క్లచెస్?
4+3 జన్మ మృత్యు జరా వ్యాధి దుఃఖ దోషానువర్తినం, మళ్ళీ ఆది దైవిక ఆది
అది.
ఆధ్యాత్మిక ఆది భౌతిక
క్లచెస్, క్లచెస్.
త్రీ క్లేషాస్, 4 మిజరీస్, యా కంప్లీట్ 7.
అన్ని పోతాయని చెప్తుంది. ద మోర్ వి ఎంగేజ్ ఇన్ కృష్ణ కాన్షియస్నెస్, రెండర్ సర్వీస్ టు కృష్ణ, ద మోర్ వి బెనిఫిట్. ద మోర్ వి బెనిఫిట్ మీన్స్ బికమింగ్ ఫ్రీ ఫ్రమ్ క్లచెస్ ఆఫ్ మెటీరియల్ వరల్డ్. Krishna does not need any service from us. It is for our benefit only, devotees. Why we have to serve Krishna? To purify ourselves. Prabhupada writes this particular word, statement, to purify our existence. ఫస్ట్ టైం విన్నప్పుడు భలే అనిపించింది కదా, ఏం వర్డ్ అనుకున్నా. సీ దిస్ పోతుంటే దట్స్ కరెక్ట్, రైట్? టు ప్యూరిఫై అవర్ ఎగ్జిస్టెన్స్. వై వి ప్రాక్టీస్ భక్తి యోగా? మనం ఏమైనా పిచ్చోళ్ళమా అందరికంటే? ఇప్పుడు మిగతా వాళ్ళు సండే అంటే వాళ్ళు ఎంజాయింగ్, టూ మచ్ ఎంజాయ్, మేము చెప్పలేము అని ఎట్లా ఏ రకంగా ఎంజాయ్ చేస్తారని ఒక్కొక్కరు అనేది వి ఆల్ నో. సమ్ ఆఫ్ అస్ వీ హెవ్ గాన్ త్రూ ఆల్సో. సండే కాగానే ఏముంటుంది, 12 దాకా పడుకుంటారు. ఓకే, తెలుసు కదా స్టోరీ, మెటీరియలిస్ట్. But we are very fortunate to participate in Bhagavatam discussion. We are very fortunate to read, to understand this pure devotee consciousness, this pure devotee pastimes. At least we are becoming pure devotees, not pure devotees said. We are becoming pure devotees. Next verse. तस्मादहं विक्लव ईश्वरस्य सर्वात्मना महि गृणमि यथा मनीषं नीच जया गुण विसर्गम अनुप्रविष्ट पूयेत येन हि पुमान् अनुवर्णितेन. Let me read. Translation purport by Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Therefore, although I was born in a demoniac family, I may, without a doubt, offer praise to the Lord with full endeavor. As far as my intelligence allows, anyone who has been forced by ignorance to enter the material world may be purified of material life if he offers prayer to the Lord and hears the Lord's glories. This is the instruction. How can we, forced, anyone who has been forced by ignorance to enter into the material world? Ignorance only, right? Due to ignorance only, we come into this material world. I wanted to enjoy like Krishna. I wanted to possess like Krishna, proprietor, enjoyment, proprietorship. I want to control like Krishna, controllership. I want to master of everything. How can be possible? That's why forced to have, and those that suffer, then rectify and come back, and practice and come back. Maybe purified of material life if he offers prayers, the fortunate soul offers prayers to the Lord and hears Lord's glories. Shravanam Kirtan, same principle. Shravanam Kirtanam Vishnu Smaranam given by whom? Prahlad Maharaj only. Hundreds and thousands of times we quote in our preaching, right? Right? Because it's a Prahlad Maharaj preaching. That is the more potent way of rectify ourselves, purify our consciousness, and get rid of these material clutches. And ultimately, serve Supreme Lord eternally in the Param Dhama Param Brahma, Param Dhama Pavitram, pure purport. It is clearly understood that a devotee does not need to be born in a very high family Janma is doesn't matter. Qualities matters. To be rich, to be aristocrat are very beautiful. None of these qualifications will engage one in devotional service. దానివల్ల ప్రైడ్ వస్తుంది. ఓకే, అరిస్టోక్రటిక్, టూ మచ్ బ్యూటిఫుల్, హై ఫ్యామిలీ, డబ్బులు బాగుంటాయి. ఏమైంది? మెటీరియల్ నేచర్ ఫోర్సెస్ టు ఎంజాయ్ దెమ్, రైట్? మెటీరియల్ నేచర్ ఫోర్సెస్ టు ఎంజాయ్ దెమ్. ఉన్నాయి కదా, నాకు ఇన్ని డబ్బులు ఉన్నాయి కదా, ఎంజాయ్ చేస్తా. అది సింపుల్ లైఫ్. దట్స్ ప్రభుపాద ఎందుకు రాసింది కానీ వెరీ పవర్ఫుల్ స్టేట్మెంట్ డివోటీస్. సింపుల్ లివింగ్, హై థింకింగ్. Simple living, high thinking. The more we accumulate, the more we suffer, because our time consumes in those, right? Our time consumes in those. How to maintain? ఎక్కడ చేస్తావు నువ్వు? జపం ఎక్కడ చేస్తావు? తపం ఎక్కడ చేస్తావు? వర్షిప్ ఎక్కడ చేస్తావు? మనసంతా అక్కడనే ఉన్నాయి. ఇన్ని పెట్టుకుంటే. ఐఎమ్ టాకింగ్ టు మై సెల్ఫ్. ఐఎమ్ సింప్లిఫైయింగ్. With devotion, one should feel God is great and I am very small. Yes. Therefore, my duty is to offer my praise to the Lord. Only on this basis can one understand and render service to the Lord. As the Lord says in Bhagavad Gita 18:55, Bhaktyamam abhijanati yavan yashasmi tattvataha tato mam tattvato jnatva vishate tadanantaram. One can understand the Supreme Personality of God as is only by devotional service. And when one is in full consciousness of the Supreme Lord by such devotion, which devotion? Krishna is only the protector. Krishna is only savior. He can enter into the kingdom of God. Thus, Prahlad Maharaj decided to offer his best prayers to the Lord without consideration of his material position. Even though he was born in a asuric family, but he is fully conscious of devotional qualities, right? Fully devotee consciousness. Sarvye hihami vidhi karastava sattva dhamno brahmadayo vayam ivesha na chodvijanta क्षेमाय भूताय उतात्म सुखाय चास्यम् विक्रीडितं भगवतो रुचिरावतारैः. Next 3 verses, devotees. Please be ready. Whoever wants to recite in the tune of Brahma Samhita. అన్ని నేనే చేస్తే ఎట్లా? మీకు కావాలి కదా, మీరు కూడా ఎంగేజ్ కావాలి కదా. Use your tongue in Krishna's service. So please recite next 3 verses. I am going to give. Another Mataji 16 verse ఇచ్చారు. ఇది I don't know. Another 5-10 minutes పడుతుంది. ఓకేనా శిల్ప మాతాజీ?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Okay, Prabhuji.
ఏమంటారు? 5 minutes 16 ఇచ్చారు, అది కంప్లీట్ చేద్దాంలే. ఇట్స్ ఓకే. ఓ మై లార్డ్, ఆల్ ద డెమిగాడ్స్ headed by Lord Brahma and are sincere servants of your lordship who are situated in a transcendental position. Next 3 verses is self-explanatory. I'm not going to in very deep. Just recite those 3. Therefore, they are not like us, Prahlada and his father, the demon Hiranyakashipu. Your appearance in this fearsome form is your pastime for your own pleasure. Such an incarnation is always meant for the protection and improvement of the universe. Improvement of the universe and protection. So, transcendental position. Are sincere servants of your lordship. Oh my Lord, all is glorifying demigods headed by Lord Brahma are all the sincere servants of your lordship. Krishna is only Parama Purusha. Govindam Adi Purusham, Parama Purusha, Adi Purusha. All other beings, demigods, Lord Brahma, Lord Shiva, all are serving him to please Supreme Lord in their service. We have to understand. In different departmental functions, material nature. Purport. Anybody? తొందరగా అదే వాళ్ళు చదవండి చూద్దాం.
I will read, Prabhuji.
చంద్రబాబు చదవండి.
Prahlad Maharaj wanted to assert that his father and the other members of his family were all unfortunate because they were demonic, whereas the devotees of the Lord are always fortunate because they are always ready to follow the orders of the Lord. When the Supreme Lord appears in this material world in his various incarnations, he performs 2 functions, saving the devotees and vanquishing the demon. Paritranaya sadhunam vinashanaya dushtita. Lord Narasimhadeva, for example, appeared for the protection of his devotee. Such pastimes as those of Narasimhadeva are certainly not meant to create a fearful situation for the devotees, but nonetheless, the devotees, being very simple and faithful, are afraid of the various incarnation of the Lord. Therefore, Prahlad Maharaja in the following prayer requests the Lord to give up his anger.
Next verse is very important. Prayer devotees, anybody, please come up. It's simple. Is nothing is here. Why Krishna appears? Because he wanted to paritranaya sadhuna vinachaya dushkutam, saving a devotee, vanquishing the demon. Simple. That's why. So here, your appearance in this fearsome form is your pastime of your own pleasure. Prahlad Maharaj saying, Such an incarnation is always meant for the protection and improvement of the universe. Next prayer, let us see. Hare Krishna. Anybody? Next 2, 3 ఉన్నాయి 14, 15 and 16 చేయండి.
Hare
బ్రహ్మ
Krishna.
సంహిత
Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna Prabhu.
యా శిరీష మాతాజీ, సరస్వతి మాతాజీ, మీరు
Yes.
ఇద్దరు ఉన్నారు రెడీగా. నెక్స్ట్ 3 ఇంకోరెవరు ఏం చేస్తారు నెక్స్ట్ 16 వర్స్? ఓకే చేయండి. ఐదర్ సరస్వతి మాతాజీ,
Hare
శిరీష
Krishna.
మాతాజీ, గో హెడ్ మాతాజీ.
तद्यच्छमन्युम् असुराश्च हतं अयाध्या मोदेत साधुरपि वृश्चिकसर्पहत्या लोकाश्च निवृतम् इतः प्रतीयन्ति सर्वे रूपां नृसिंहविभयाय जनाः स्मरन्ति.
Read the translation also.
Translation. My Lord Narsimhadeva, please therefore cease your anger now that my father, the great demon Hiranyakasipu, has been killed. Since even saintly persons take pleasure in the killing of a scorpion or a snake, all the worlds have achieved great satisfaction because of the death of this demon. Now they are confident of their happiness, and they will always remember your auspicious incarnation in order to be free from fear. Purport.
Purport also, yeah. Go ahead, Mataji.
The most important point in this verse is that although saintly persons never desire the killing of any living entity, they take pleasure in the killing of envious living entities like snakes and scorpions. Hiranyakasipu was killed because he was worse than a snake or a scorpion, and therefore everyone was happy. Now there was no need for the Lord to be angry. The devotees can always remember the form of Narsimhadeva when they are in danger, and therefore the appearance of Narsimhadeva was not at all inauspicious. The Lord's appearance is always worshipable and auspicious for all sane persons and devotees.
Jai. Thank you, Mataji.
Hare
That's what
Krishna.
it is. His form is always. That's why in our temple altar we put, right, Narasimhadev killing, on the lap of, on his lap, we see all the blood, body parts, పేగులు అంటాం తెలుగులో, చూసాం కదా. చూడండి ఒకసారి ఫామ్. But still we are worshipping, putting flower, Narasimhadev prayer when we do, applying the saints, auspicious, Prabhupada writes, all is always worshipable and auspicious for all sane persons and devotees. Right. So that's what it is here. What is saying here? My dear Lord Narasimha, please therefore cease your anger now with that. My father, the great demon Hiranyakashipu, has been killed. Everybody happy now, since even saintly person like pleasure killing the scorpion and snake. అంతే కదా, పాయిజనస్ స్నేక్స్ చంపితే కొంచెం ఆనందపడతారు, అరే చచ్చింది అని, కుట్టదని. ఇవి కుట్టితే పాయిజన్ మన బాడీలోకి వెళ్ళి మనం పోతాం కదా. సో కిల్ చేయడం వల్ల అనేది ఒక రకమైనటువంటి ప్లెజర్ వస్తుంది. అట్లనే సేమ్ ఫీలింగ్, హ్యాపీనెస్, ఆల్ దిస్ అసెంబ్లీ దే గాట్ దట్. ఈ డీమన్ పోయిందని, ఆల్ ద వరల్డ్స్ హ్యావ్ అచీవ్డ్ గ్రేట్ సాటిస్ఫాక్షన్ బికాస్ ఆఫ్ ద డెత్ ఆఫ్ దిస్ డీమన్. నౌ దే ఆర్ కాన్ఫిడెంట్ their happiness and of their happiness, and they will always remember your auspicious incarnation in order to free from fear. Abhaya Hastam, Abhaya Narasimhadev. Next 15th verse. 15th verse, Saraswati Mataji. 16th
Hare
verse,
Krishna.
Lavanya. Okay, be ready.
Yes. Naham bibhemya jati tate ati bhayanakasya jihvar kanetra bhrukuti rabha sogra dam shrat antra sraja kshattaja केशर शंकुकर्णान निर्ह्राद भीत दिघिभात अरिभिन नखाग्रात. Sorry, Prabhuji, for my bad
No problem.
miswriting.
Okay.
Translation.
No problem.
My Lord, who are never conquered by anyone, I am certainly not afraid of your ferocious mouth and tongue, your eyes bright like the sun, or your frowning eyebrows. I don't fear your sharp pinching teeth, your garland of intestines, your mane soaked with blood, or your high wedge-like ears, nor do I fear your tumultuous roaring, which makes elephant flee to distant places, or your nails, which are meant to kill your enemies. Purport. Lord Nrisimhadeva, fierce appearance was certainly most dangerous for the non-devotees, but for Prahlad Maharaj, such a fearful appearance was not at all disturbing. The lion is very fearsome for other animals, but its cubs are not at all afraid of the lion. The water of the sea is certainly dreadful for all living entities on the land, but within the sea, even the small fish is unafraid. Why? Because the small fish has taken shelter of the big ocean. It is said that although great elephants are taken away by the flooding water of the rivers, the small fish swim opposite the current. Therefore, although the Lord sometimes assumes a fierce appearance to kill the Dushkritis, the devotees worship him. Keshavadrita Narahari Rupa Jaya Jagadisha Hare. The devotees always takes pleasure in worshipping the Lord and glorifying the Lord in any form, either pleasing or fierce. Thank you,
Thank you,
Prabhuji.
Mataji. Hare Krishna. Thank you, Mataji. So he's explaining, my Lord, who are never conquered by anyone, I am certainly not afraid of your ferocious mouth and tongue, your eyes bright like the sun, or your frowning eyebrows. I do not fear your sharp pinching teeth, your garland of intense intestines, right? Garland of intestines. That's where, పేగులు వేసుకున్నాడు కదా ఆ పిక్చర్లో చూడండి. యువర్ మెయిన్ soaked with blood, or your high wedge like ears. Varnana on all this description, how he is looking like. Nor do I fear your tumultuous roaring, which makes elephants flee to distant places, or your nails, which are meant to kill your enemies. అని చెప్తున్నాడా? So what he's saying, um, for devotees won't disturb all this. The lion is very fearsome for other animals, but its cubs are not at all afraid of the lion. Prahlad Maharaj, such a fearful appearance was not at all disturbed. మనం ముందు వరుసలోనే చూసినాం కదా, is very peaceful, not disturbed. He's thinking about, yeah, my Lord is appeared in this form. Finally, get rid of this guy. Why? Because the small, again, Prabhupada, this is the beauty of analogy. Prabhupada ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. The water of the sea is certainly dreadful for all living entities on the land, ante kada. But within the sea, even the small fish is unafraid. Why? Because the small fish has taken shelter of the big ocean. And it is said, what is said? Although great elephants are taken away by the flooding waters of the river, the small fish swim opposite the current. So, enta nice analogy ఉంది చూడండి, right? Therefore, although the Lord sometimes assumes, therefore, although the Lord sometimes assumes a fierce appearance to kill the Dushkritis, the devotees worship him. Keshavadrita Narahare Rupa Jaya Jagadisha Hare. The devotee always takes pleasure in worshipping the Lord and glorifying the Lord in any form, either pleasing or fierce. Pleasing అంటే మంచిగా నవ్వుతూ త్రిభంగ ఫామ్, హోల్డింగ్ ఫ్లూట్, ప్లేయింగ్ ఫ్లూట్, మంచి ఫ్రెండ్స్, నైస్, ప్లీజింగ్ టు ద ఐస్. వాట్ అబౌట్ నరసింహదేవ్? Even the fiercing, even though by looking at we get some, no, that is auspicious. No need to fear, because that is devotees have to think about, oh, he killed a demoniac mentality of enjoying the Krishna's property. See, Hiranyakashipu's definition is enjoying Krishna's properties, enjoying and not addressing. దాంట్లో చాలా మీనింగ్ ఉందండి. ఎంజాయింగ్, అదే ఆ మెంటాలిటీ, హిరణ్యకశిపు మెంటాలిటీ. హిరణ్యకశిపు గోల్డ్ కశిపు అంటే గోల్డెన్ బాడీ అన్నట కాదు కదా. హిరణ్యకశిపు అంటే ఎనీబడి
బెడ్డింగ్. హిరణ్య అంటే గోల్డ్, కశిపు అంటే బెడ్, సాఫ్ట్ బెడ్, మీన్స్ విమెన్ అటాచ్డ్.
అది he wanted to have a golden bed, he wanted to sleep in golden bed but not serve Krishna. He wanted to enjoy a proprietor, controller. అది అక్కడనే కదా ప్రాబ్లం వచ్చిందంతా. లాస్ట్ వర్స్ you want to do, Lavanya?
If anybody wants to do, they can do.
ఇది లాస్ట్ వర్స్. Let us
Okay,
complete.
Prabhuji.
Already time is up.
Can I do,
Time
Prabhuji?
is up.
Yes,
Mataji, go ahead.
Mataji.
బ్రహ్మ సంహిత ట్రై చేయండి.
रत्सोऽस्मि अहं कृपणवत्सल्य दुस्सहग्र संसारचक्र कदानन्दगृहस्थां प्रणीतः बद्धा स्वकर्माभिरुस्तमस्ते निगृहीमूलं प्रीतोपवर्ग Saranam havyasya kadanuhu.
Jai. Nice try, Matai. Thank you. ఈ లాస్ట్ మీరే కంక్లూడ్ చేయండి రీడింగ్ ట్రాన్స్లేషన్ యాజ్ వెల్ as
Translation
purport.
and purport by Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Translation: O most powerful, insurmountable Lord, who are kind to the fallen souls, I have been put into the association of demons as a result of my activities, and therefore I am very much afraid of my condition of life within this material world. When will that moment come when you will call me to the shelter of your lotus feet, which are the ultimate goal for liberation from conditional life? Purport:
Yes, Matai. Purport, yeah.
Being in the material world is certainly miserable, but certainly when one is put into the association of asuras or atheistic men, it is intolerably so. One may ask why the living entity is put into this material world. Indeed, sometimes foolish people deride the Lord for having put them here. Actually, everyone is put in conditional life according to his karma. Therefore, Prahlad Maharaj, representing all the other conditioned souls, admits that he was put into life among asuras because the result of his karma. God is known as Kripana Vatsala because he is extremely kind to the conditioned souls. As stated in Bhagavad Gita, therefore, the Lord appears whenever there are discrepancies in the execution of religious principles. Yada yada hi dharmasya glanir bhavati bharataha tadatmanam srijamyaham. The Lord is extremely anxious to deliver the conditioned souls, and therefore he instructs all of us to return home back to Godhead. Sarva dharman parityajya mam ekam sharanam vraja. Thus, Prahlad Maharaj expected that the Lord, by his kindness, would call him again to the shelter of his lotus feet. In other words, everyone should be eager to return home back to Godhead, taking shelter of the lotus feet of the Lord, and thus being fully trained in Krishna consciousness. Hare Krishna.
Hari Bol. Thank you, Mataji. Yes, fully trained. Nice verse. Prabhupada writes, fully trained in Krishna consciousness. What is the training center we have? ISKCON, International Society for Krishna Consciousness. That is our training center in all the areas. Engaging our senses, very important thing. No, with this we'll concluding. What he's saying, all who are kind to fallen souls, who Krishna only, right? He is a Krishna Karuna Sindhu. I have been put into the association of demons as a result of my activities. Therefore, I am very much afraid of my condition of life within this middle world. When will that moment come when we will call me to the shelter of lotus, which are the ultimate goal for liberation from condition life? What is saying here? Therefore, Prahlad Maharaja representing Prabhupada writes here. See, therefore, Prahlad Maharaja is a pure devotee, right? But he is taking a position of a conditioned soul. And Prabhupada writes here, Prahlad Maharaja representing all other conditioned souls admits that he was put into the life among asuras because of the results of his karma, right? Because of his karma, one is takes this kind of body. Prabhupada writes, everyone is put into conditioned life according to his own karma, according to his karma. And here Prahlad Maharaj is representing those. So how to surrender? He's training, he's teaching by his example. The Lord is known as Kripana Vatsala because he's extremely kind to the conditioned souls. Stated in Bhagavad Gita, why the Lord appears when the irreligious principles are prevailing or pervading, completely occupies irreligious principles. He comes that to put again religious principles. Yada yada hi dharmasya ग्लानिर्भवति भारत अभ्युदान धर्मस्य यदा यदा हि धर्मस्य ग्लानिर्भवति भारत अभ्युदानं धर्मस्य तदात्म्य सृजाम्यहं तदात्मानं सृजाम्यहं. This is very important. Prabhupada writes only. The Lord is extremely anxious to deliver. Actually, He is waiting for us, right? We see many times, right, in the lectures and in the classes. Actually, Krishna is waiting for us. When this soul is turns to me, that's where Prabhupada writes, the Lord is extremely anxious to deliver the conditioned souls. As soon as we turn towards Krishna, ఒక్క స్టెప్ మనం వేస్తే what happens? ఇంకొక 100 స్టెప్పులు ముందుకు తీసుకెళ్తాడు కృష్ణుడే. అంటే బై గివింగ్ డిఫరెంట్ థింగ్స్. మనకు చిన్న ఇంట్రెస్ట్ ఉందనుకోండి, ఫర్ ఎగ్జాంపుల్, Krishna shows different ways how to associate with devotees, how to engage ourselves. Definitely, He will show. And therefore, He instructs all of us to return home back to Godhead. Sarvadharman parityajya mamekam sharanam vraja. Thus, last lines. Prahlad Maharaj expected that the Lord, by His kindness, Kripana Vatsala, would call him again to shelter of His lotus feet. In other words, everyone should eager to return home. Eagerness, one has to develop eagerness to go back home, back to Godhead, right? Utsaham, we have to have that kind of utsaha, dhairya, nishad, tat karma pravartana, that is there from Nectar of Instruction. We have to do those activities. Everyone should be eager to return home back to God, taking shelter of the lotus feet of the Lord, and thus being fully trained in Krishna consciousness. And we are very fortunate. We have an educational institution called ISKCON Education Ministry. Nicely developed these courses. Next of what is that? Bhakti Shastri. Before that, IDC ISKCON Disciple Course, and all various courses. Bhakti Shastri, Bhakti Vaibhava, Bhakti Sarvabhauma, Bhakti Vedanta. All these courses are to train us to understand you know these scriptures so nicely. So with this, Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Lord Narsingadev ki jai. Okasari nato paadu anandi. Okay, I'm sharing one slide. Okay, let us think about this form. Already we all know, but I wanted to show here again. Particularly with ఈ picture, I have. This is what it is. We are in the same context. This picture, see, చేతు వేసిన ఉంది కదా, but it's okay. Right hand వేసిండు, but sometimes devotees in ecstasy they put. But anyway, it touched Prahlad Maharaj. Prahlad Maharaj, see, nice paintings, our devotees, so good. And one more picture, see this one, a very very loving devotion. Of course, devotees, think Narsingadev also Krishna, right? When we see Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya in the scripture, is original Govindam Adipurusha in the form of Narsingadev. That way we can see, how pacifying. With his prayers, Narsingadev is pacified. ఒక్కసారి ఇది నాతో పడండి ఉగ్రం వీరం, so that all of our fears will go away. Okay, ఉగ్రం వీరం మహావిష్ణుం అనండి.
ఉగ్రం వీరం
మహావిష్ణుం
జ్వలంతం
జ్వలంతం
సర్వతోముఖం కృష్ణం భద్రం
సింహం దేశనం భద్రం నమామి.
May my head be protected by the moon colored one. One is the greatest of among humans. My obeisance unto the ferocious and powerful, the great Vishnu, the fiery one, whose faces are on all sides, the fearful one, Narsimha, who causes the death of even death personified, or who can overcome death. Ugram Veera Mahavishnu. Jaya Narasimha, Shri Narasimha, Jaya Jaya Narasimha Deva. Praladesha Jaya Padma Mukha Padma Branga. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for the opportunity, Shilpa Mataji, for on the behalf of Gachibowli Satsang. Whatever, if I misspoken or any corrections, please correct me. I'm open to corrections. Thank you so much.
Prabhuji, for
Dandavad
taking
Pranam.
up the service. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining. Hare Krishna.
Yeah,
Thank
you're
you,
all
Prabhuji.
blessed.
Wonderful
You're all
session.
blessed with Prahlad Narasimha today, because pacifying verses, very important. ఎవరితో సాధ్యపడలేదు, but only pure devotee సాధ్యం. That means aham bhakta. What is that? Aham bhakta aham bhakta paradina. Krishna is Narasimhadev surrendered. Actually, one way we have to understand aham bhakta paradina means భక్తుడు అంటే చాలా ఇష్టం బాగుంది. So with Prahlad Maharaj's prayers, he fully pacified. His anger gone. Next set of verses, we will see more teachings of Prahlad Maharaj. Thank you so much. Dandavad Pranam. Vancha kalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhyo eva cha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Narsingadev Bhagwan ki jai. Prahlad Maharaj ki jai. Nitai Gaur Premanande. Hari Hari Bol. Thank you so much.
Thank you,
Krishna
Prabhuji.
Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna,
Jai.
Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dandavad Pranam. Excellent class.
Thank you.
You
Thank you.
made our morning Sunday spiritual, very spiritual.
Very spiritual, and you also become spiritualist by
Yes,
chanting
yes.
nicely.
Chanting, yes, chanting.
Jai Jai. Thank you so much. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Shilpa Mataji, for allowing me to do another 8:30 prescribed time, but 40 minutes, 48 minutes. Thank you so much. Anyway, we are spending in Krishna consciousness. That we have to remember. There is no question of time actually. Krishna is always there.
Yes,
Krishna, when we see aham kalosmi, I am the time. It's okay sometimes here and there, but we have to follow time also and respect everybody's time. They have something to go, some services, right? Hare Krishna. Thank you.
Hare Krishna.